There's still 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and the clock has actually been paused during the latter end of the break. The situation right now is that 173 players remain from the 727 who started, and these are the chip leaders. It's Nicky Petrangelo, who's out on top at the moment with 380k. Start of day chip leader Jeffrey Hakim still in the top 5. Former chip leader Andreas Klatt has dropped down to 2nd place. We're keeping our same feature table for the final 2 levels of the day and for our world-famous bubble coverage, assuming that we do close in on the money bubble during the last level of the day. They did confirm earlier on a field of 727 players. That's a prize pool of 3.5 million euros. That means 143 players getting paid, a min cash worth 7,580 euros, and a top prize of more than $500,000, and the 4th PokerStars Championship Trophy. This is the 4th event that the tour has seen this year, the first on European soil. And I guess, Matt, when you consider that this was the evolution of the European Poker Tour, it's strange that it's taken us this long to have an event in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We've been so busy talking about all the new, brand new, funky locations. We need to still tip our hats to the glory that is Monte Carlo. And I don't know how many years it will be before it doesn't still feel special to come here, because I just think at a genetic level it's kind of imprinted into us.
And of course, the next leg of the tour, the next 2 legs, will be in Europe. We have Sochi coming up at the end of May, a brand new event with a huge guarantee. I believe qualifiers are still running for that one. And of course, we'll have 5 days of main event coverage on PokerStars.tv. And of course, Barcelona, after the summer, after everyone's come back from Vegas and relaxed and cleared their heads and had a bit of downtime from poker. Always a huge event, and this year's is expected to be bigger than ever before.
And of course, the big question now on everyone's lips is, are you still in the bounty bonus?
Alas, no. I believe Joe is the last remaining commentator flying the flag in the bounty bonus. As far as the Monaco main event is concerned, as far as things here in Monte Carlo are concerned, we have played 4 levels so far, and during the last session, the 3rd and 4th levels of the day, we brought a new feature table to the main stage, headlined by the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Antonius. He got off to a great start, busting French pro Benjamin Pollock. He then won a biggish pot from another former champ, Davide Katai, getting his stack up to nearly $250,000. A few members of Team Pro survived those 2 levels. Daniel Negreanu is still in. Jason Mercier still a force to be reckoned with. Liv Barry still has chips, hoping to survive the bubble and make it to day 3. Everyone who makes it through day 2, bags and tags, comes back for play tomorrow, and a reminder that we will be covering the action tomorrow from noon, Central European Summer Time, following every day of this tournament right up to the final hand, which will be played on Friday. Cards up coverage of the final table, of course, at the end of the week. Here is the lineup on the main stage. We've mentioned Patrick Antonius. We've mentioned Davide Katai. Matt, obviously you were watching all the action over those last 2 levels. Who stood out for you? Well,
Papazian has been very interesting. He's been a little unusual. He's certainly played more than his fair share. Takafuji not really got going. Benoit Lam has been all in, and a couple of times he just seems to be having a lovely time. But very interesting is Andrei Malkakov's is a qualifier. He's been playing mostly pretty straightforward poker, but he's been getting there and he's been getting some big stacks. But now we see the blinds and antes are going up, and this is where the guys with experience like Davide, like Patrick, I think will be able to put more pressure onto these players, and all of a sudden they'll look down, here comes the bubble, and they'll be short stacked. So I think this is going to be a very key level for the guys that are, perhaps in unfamiliar territory, shall we say. We play 75-minute levels on days 1 and 2 of a championship main event. This is level 13, the penultimate level of the day. Blinds right now at 1,200, 2,400 with a 400 ante, and cards are in the air once again. Action folded. Salvatore.
Graziano opening the action by the looks of things. Daniel on Twitter, hashtag PokerStars TV, by the way, says the set works so well on the stage at Monte Carlo, looks very dramatic. This is a great venue, the Salle des Etoiles at Le Sporting here at the Monte Carlo Bay Hotel and Resort. It is a fantastically beautiful room in which to play poker. It exudes all the glamour you'd expect from Monte Carlo. And of course, just like Blofeld's volcano, and you only live twice, you've got the crater that opens up.
Yeah, it was always the real tough question when people would say, I've always dreamt of coming out to one of these events. Where is the one to come to? And you go, it's so hard because we love going to Barcelona because it's such a fantastic location. Obviously the Bahamas is always hard to beat, but then you go, but for sheer spectacle to come here, this is just such a dramatic location. And when they do open up the roof, there's nowhere else in the world like it, so certainly something to be savoured. You do get the sense, I love walking in, and if you're behind people that are coming into the room for the first time, clearly, and they all kind of walk up and they see the tables, they see the players, and then they kind of get to really actually appreciate the size and height of the room. And it's there's no way it doesn't get to you.
So that last hand was raise and take it for Salvatore Graziano. This hand starts with Alexandro Papazian raising under the gun. Oh no, my apologies, he has actually folded. Oh no, he has raised.
No, you're right, we'll get there, we'll get there.
I thought I heard him say raise, and then the word fold appeared on my screen, but no, he's made it 5,000.
And it looks like that was good enough.
So 2 raise and take it. So right now, average stack is 126,000, around the 50 big blind mark. 30 players to lose until we are in the money. 173 remaining, 143 share the 3.5 million euro prize pool. And should we get close to the bubble, should we kick into bubble mode here on PokerStars TV, we will activate Neil Johnson. He is back with us on the tour. Last time we spoke to you was when we were in Panama. Obviously, we didn't do a stream from Macau, but during the last 2 legs of the tour, obviously, Neil was unwell. Pleased to say he's well on the road to recovery. He's back with us on location, and hopefully back with us in the booth for our world-famous bubble coverage.
Also, just want to quickly respond to a few people that are saying about where do they find the free roll that we finally announced the password for in the last level. The easiest way to go about finding it, I would suggest, is head to the PokerStars lobby, head over to the tourney tab, make sure you've got your filters turned off, and just pop into the little search box, just TV, just the letters TV, and that'll bring up all 5 of the free rolls due this week, and then you can register with our password, which I'll get up on the screen. It's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, we've named, I think, them after streets in Monte Carlo this time around. Obviously, the free roll doesn't start. This is one of the consequences of being back on European soil. The free roll doesn't start until after we're off air, around 9:15 this evening. So don't expect us to be playing in the free roll. We've had our fun in the bounty bonus tournament, another one tomorrow, of course. But hey, still every reason to play. $2,000 in the prize pool. You play that game on PokerStars this evening. So the last hand, raise and take it for Papazian.
Yeah, you've not had much luck so far, have you? Let's be honest, since the level started. Not a lot to talk about.
When you say that, I see a red triangle of death here in front of Martin Lund. Katai opened with a raise to 5,700. Lund has shoved for 29,400. Action back on Katai, one of the former champs in the field, one of 2 former champs at this feature table. Davide folds to the all-in. Let's introduce our next guest commentator here on PokerStars TV. We saw him buy in at the start of play today, but the fact that he's with us in the booth tells you he is not still in the Monte Carlo main event. We welcome from Team Online, Randy Lou, Nanonoko himself.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I got a confession. Actually, you know where Davide Katai's sitting?
Yeah.
That was my old seat.
Ah. Oh, in that case, Randy, you can answer a question. Obviously, we were intrigued by your tweet from earlier on today. Which of these guys managed to slice himself while opening his chip bag?
That guy right there.
Ah,
the cat.
Martin Lund, okay.
Yeah.
Was it bad? Was it pretty hardcore?
Because he got to the table last. He has a bag of chips, right? Unopened. And the dealer gives him a scissors, just because it's hard to open those bags.
Yeah, yeah.
And then next time I look, he's bleeding all over his hand.
Oh.
And then the dealer's like, what are you doing?
I'm bleeding.
Yeah, I don't know how that's even possible.
I'm pretty sure, wasn't there like a kind of a highlights reel once of Phil Ivey spending a good 20 minutes trying to get into one of those bags? I think we might need to try and find some middle ground between, like, impregnable and accessible.
They're tough bags.
So yes, we've got Randy with us in the booth. Randy, obviously over the course of the weekend, we were filming the PokerStars Championship Cash Challenge Series. Obviously, we're not going to give out any spoilers because those TV shows won't air for a while, but you got to play in that game. By the way, big shout out to our 2 challengers, our qualifiers, Alex and Mila. Thank you very much for coming to Monte Carlo and taking part. But just generally, did you enjoy the experience of being in that game?
I actually met both of the qualifiers, and they're both really nice people and very enthusiastic. They had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Everyone at the table had fun. No one was miserable and playing super serious, right? And you know, of course, I try to splash around a little bit, and it's going to be good. It's a good show.
And I'll tell you what, this is one small, tiny spoiler. Randy really struggles with pot limit.
Yes. End of story.
So, I guess, how long were you actually at the table, Randy, and how much did you get to appreciate the play of the other competitors at this table?
I almost made it to the end of the level, so I did get to see some of the hands that went down between some of the players. So hopefully that can give you some better insight. I can tell you that Takafuji is the one who busted me. Kings against my queens. Pretty standard, given I was a short stack. And he's still there, so he's doing something right.
The awesomely handsome Patrick Antonius is going to raise here. And obviously we don't really see Patrick on tour much. He plays very few live events, but seeing as this one is literally on his doorstep, I guess it has that incentive.
I mean, you know, he doesn't play many turns, but when he does, he's the chip leader at the table.
You think he'd bother to turn up to a few more, because I think he could be quite good at the game if he applies himself.
I think he is quite good at the game.
Well, you know what, we'll see. You know what, time will tell.
If he doesn't cash those men, yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah.
So Antonius opens to 5,500. There has been at least one call. And that call has come from Salvatore Graziano in the small blind. Ace, ace, jack on the flop.
Generally speaking, this does hit the pre-flop raise or more. So I expect Antonius to continuation bet here. If he didn't have anything, he's going to try to represent those ace, kings, ace, queens and stuff.
6. Gets a call on a stare down.
6,000 apiece. King on the turn. The board gets straightier.
And there's a pretty quick call. Given that Graziano came from the small blind, I think his hand's a lot stronger than normal. So I think he has an ace or a jack here a lot.
We've got a double paired board now.
I strongly suspect that Antonius is not going to call this bet. That's just the vibe I'm getting. I think if Antonius had like an ace, he would have bet the turn a lot of times. Unless he's reaching a little bit. Like, if he had ace queen, he probably want to bet again, because if his opponent has like jack 10 or queen jack, you don't want to let him draw for free.
Mulligan over, yeah.
He's got like king queen maybe. Jack 10 type hand. It's tough because Graziano called from the small blind, so I don't think Graziano's going to have like 7-8 suited. Things that the big blind would normally have. The small blind, they generally play a lot tighter, especially when you're playing against such a tough opponent out of position.
Well, he is gathering in readiness, but still doesn't appear to have convinced himself which way to go.
By the way, the free roll we were talking about earlier on, password is now on the screen in the top left-hand corner, as Patrick calls this bet of 14,000. Pocket sixes.
Wow, nice call.
Pocket queens for Patrick Antonius.
That's why he's very good. I think he's going to make it.
I think you're right. You know, I want to review my previous statement. I'm with you now. I think not only does he have potential, but I think he might have just reached it.
I mean, when you got pocket sixes there, you got to turn your hand into a bluff. It was a good bet, because as you see, Patrick took a while to make that call. And it was a very tough call. Not easy at all.
Kind of, it feels a little bit unusual to come out the small blind with the sixes. I mean, I guess the problem is I was about to say it kind of seems strange to come in with a small blind, but then still be playing it aggressively. But I guess, well, what else are you going to do? Like, give up if you don't hit?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a kind of a weird spot.
It pretty much, I think Patrick, if he was doing bluff catch, it was always like pocket 2s through 10s, like 100% of the time if he wins that pot. Because, you know, if he had 2 broadways, well, the guy has showdown value. So
Yeah.
it was, I expected the guy to show up ace queen a lot, but...
I mean, the thing is, you said it, the small blinds, you kind of feel like that's going to connect with him because it's not going to be the small hands that the big blind's coming in with. But Patrick somehow saw through that. Magic.
I think the hand played pretty straightforward until Patrick called the river. That was not normal.
Yeah, that was where things got a bit.
That was just good poker there.
Wow, Katai gives Lund a walk. So yeah, for those of you having trouble finding the free roll in the PokerStars tournament lobby, we always give this advice. Switch off the whole filters thing. Just turn that off, and then use the search bar and type in either the letters TV or PokerStars Space TV, and it'll bring up all 5 free rolls, including tonight's, and then you can register using the password that is on the screen, Avenue des Pins. I'm assuming that is the road with the hairpin bend?
I guess so. And it has, like, some nearly poker terminology hidden in there. Avenue, just spin it up.
So analysing the numbers, Randy, and considering that I think we're paying pretty much 20% of the field here in Monte Carlo. Exactly, 30 away, 2 levels to play. Pretty confident that we are going to see the bubble hit into the second half of the final level of the day.
Well, your experience with that, I usually don't get that far in a tournament, so...
Is it nice to be able to see what this kind of part of a tournament looks like?
You know, I have to watch the televised stuff.
Sorry,
Try to pretend I'm there.
I'm interested, Randy, because you were one of the people we mentioned bought in at the start of day 2. And obviously you're coming in with a stack of 30,000 when the blinds are 500 and 1,000 for 30 big blinds. Is it a plus EV move to buy in for 5,000 euros for a 30 big blind stack?
I would say that the later you buy into tournament, the less plus EV it becomes.
Yeah.
I wanted to play the cash game thing, so that's why I bought one. Otherwise, I would have been there at 12 o'clock.
So you're basically saying it's our fault?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if your scenario's changed a little bit. But
He's not saying it, James. He's just implying and inferring it.
But generally speaking, I think you should try and register as soon as you can. Otherwise, you're leaving it up to variance. You know, I got in a situation where it was just a cooler, but, you know, if I had 100 BBs, you know, we might have just lost some flops, and I might have lost a little bit less, and a lot of things could have happened.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I think it's become quite common now in the main event, especially with people who are playing the super high roller on day 1A or the one-day super high roller on day 1B. They'll just come in and pony up the 5k at the start of day 2, but...
I mean, I prefer to play at the start, but,
yeah,
you know, I still want to play the main events when I can.
Something better than nothing, right?
But, you know, one of the main reasons why, like, really, why I register on day 2 is that I beat half of the field already. That is a big one.
Well, we have got action on one of the outer tables, and it's action involving Jason Mercier. He is all in, and the lady in seat 3, the lady sat directly to Jason's left, is deciding whether to call this shove. All in on the turn, a Jack 10 6-4 board with 2 clubs. Karen Oliver is the player who's deciding whether to call Jason's all in.
It's a really big bet.
Meanwhile, it really doesn't help us that this guy's vaping.
And apparently there's still a third player live in his hand as well to be worried about.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see the bet in front of the player in seat 1, then Jason's shove, the red triangle of death in front of all of his chips.
She still has to worry about the seat 1, right?
Yeah.
Bold. Show us. Show us.
Jason Mercier is a player who does not believe in giving away free information, Randy.
But today maybe is a new day, right? No?
Yeah, in your dreams.
Maybe tomorrow.
I tried. Maybe if he actually heard me.
I've got a funny feeling that might not make any difference. I mean, I'm not saying 100%.
I think we have to pay him some money.
I think you have to pay him a lot of money. Knowledge is power, Randy.
That's why we're watching the whole card there, right?
Sadly so.
Let's get off showdown.
So we're back on the main stage, back at our feature table, headlined by Patrick Antonius and Davide Katai. Action is on Katai. Raised to 5,800, and this happened the last time Davide opened. Lund shoved over the top of him, all in here for 42,300.
Good timing.
Well, he probably knows someone of Katai's caliber is going to open a lot. It's pretty easy to shove on someone who raises a lot with, like, any pocket pair, big cards.
Yeah, back up to 54,500 for Martin, so 22 bigs. Just ahead of Graciano. Short stack Benoit Lamb. It's going to be a tough level for anyone with less than 100,000. This is going to really be like, the pressure is just going to really start mounting.
You know, I get the vibe that Patrick, with that chip stack, he's going to want to put more pressure now as we approach the money.
Thank you to Razorheart for confirming what I suspected. The E in Lunda is not silent. So as Katai opens, let's see if Lunda shoves again. No, he folds. Rounds Patrick Antonius.
Oh, man.
The fearful 3-bet from Patrick Antonius in position.
Gulp.
The thing is, Katai he likes to battle. I've seen those hands, you know, and yeah, I don't think Katai is trying to min cash here. So if he wants to go to war, he will.
Well, the last time we got overly excited about Davide and Patrick getting into it, they checked it down to a showdown at the very end. And
That aces and kings or something?
I can't even remember. It was, we'd been waiting for this specific battle to kick off, and when we finally got what we'd hoped for, it turned it into a bit of a damp squib.
Maybe Katai's like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for a new table. Who knows? But he's thinking about it.
I mean, that's the thing. You've either got the short stack shoving on you, or the big stack just kicking back on you. You're like, you know what? I don't know.
Just waiting for the middle stack to get you too, right?
Yeah. It's like there's no good spots here, ever.
So Katai folds. Antonius still bossing the table with around 135 big blinds. Katai, on the other hand, hovering around the 40 big blind mark. A pretty awkward stack size when it comes to trying to play 3-bet pots. Meanwhile, Victoria Curran-Mitchell tweets that Elke has just joined her table. In Vicky's words, just like the old days, ready to see him. 727 players, now down to 166. Confirmed. 23 off the money now. An opening raise from Patrick.
It's almost like from the moment you said you expect him to put the pressure on, he's like, that's a really good idea, Randy.
Yeah, he
Just
knows.
like, here we come. Get some momentum going. Get everyone into the habit of just folding to him and keeping their eye on that number of players ticking down.
Well, to be fair, when I started the day with him, he was already doing that from the start get-go.
So it's a pretty easy guess.
So he hasn't slowed down.
It's funny, going back to our conversation about late regging the main event, Randy, of course, Patrick Antonius has one of the best late reg stories of all time, and this was back in 2005 when people didn't really do that kind of thing, and Patrick didn't do it intentionally. He missed his flight and arrived in Baden towards the end of day one, but was able to turn things around, and of course, that's where he won his main event title.
The one time he late registers, huh? Let me guess, you register on time for this one? Bad move.
He's doing okay. Queen, 8 deuce, 2 hearts.
Antonius has given up the betting lead. Checks over to button.
Are you less likely to continuation bet, Randy, if you're called in 2 spots rather than just 1?
Yes, in general. Especially if it's not the big blind that comes on. If the big blind comes on, I would continuation bet more because the big blind can have any 2 suited cards because they have good odds. But this guy I called from the small blind, so that means a lot more. I would be wary that generally these are not good boards to see that he just got like ace 5 high, because like someone usually has like king queen queen jack 8-9 type hand. It's just not gonna fold.
Wow.
Patrick.
Check raise on the flop. So Maklakov's made it 16,000. And Patrick check raised enough to put his opponent all in. The qualifier calls 6 deuce of hearts, a pair and a flush draw against ace 10 of hearts. It is literally a flip, 50-50. Maklakov's with 13 outs. The hearts are working for him. And of course, aces and 10s are good cards for him as well.
I wouldn't know which hand I would want in this spot.
Pick one now, quickly, come on.
I picked the 6 deuce, it's Antonius.
Unbelievable.
Let's see if it's run good day for Patrick Antonius. Manages to hold on the turn, now becomes a 70% favourite. Same outs needed for Maklakov's, any heart, any 10, any ace. The river is a diamond, and so we lose. Andre Maklakov's misses out on a cash here in Monte Carlo, falling to Patrick Antonius, who moves over the 400k mark now.
I thought he snapped off the set or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, ace 10's a pretty good call there too,
Yeah.
of course.
Well, we can see from the numbers it was, as James said.
Would you like my pick though?
Absolutely.
I got it right.
How do you do that, Randy? I mean, that's impressive. I would have taken the ace 10 all day long.
Does he look like a man who's gonna lose a pot?
That is a very good question.
Wow.
That's a good day at the office. 173 big blinds. Yeah. I do hope he doesn't back off at all and just keeps pounding away here, because it would be just fantastic to see him just eat all of these chips.
That was a really big pot too. Which is a bet and a check raise all in. There was like 30 to 40 big blinds for that.
Well, it was the bet was 16,000 just all in for his last 78.
So with Maklikov's going out, that takes us down to 162 players, and that means we are fewer than 20 off the money here in this main event. Lunda raising under the gun. This is not Olashemian, this is not Jason Mercier. This is Alexandru Papazian from Romania.
Now I can't get that image out of it. Just merging their two faces together. Ole Mercier.
And he was created in a lab, incorporating the best elements of Shemian and Mercier as poker players, with added Romanian from the Negreanu gene pool.
Re-raise. 3 bets of 14,000.
Ty is in the big blind. He passes, action back on Martin Lunda.
Well, Lunda has kind of got the all-in or fold situation. His stack size is really short, so you usually don't want to call re-raise here, unless you got aces.
Yeah, it's an all or nothing, isn't it, really? It's just... You're just going to get yourself in such an awkward part if you call here.
It's just basically, does he got it or not?
And it's one of those where, because you're aware of your stack size, you think, well, my opponent knows. Oh. Yeah. So you've got to...
Is it a real count or fake count? The count and fold? It's a common one.
I think it's... My vibe is it's a real one. I'm plumping for a real one.
So I think if it's a real one, then it's got like an ace-jack, I think. It's most likely. Or like... ace-queen or ace-jack. Almost. I think he's gonna fold.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that's the case, he can't call against Martin's range, can he?
He's got that why did I 3-bet look. There's some flaws in the lab.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? You 3-bet a guy with a stack that size, you know one of two things is happening. Either he's folding to your 3-bet or he's shoving on you.
And you know what to do, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, isn't that fine, though?
It is.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, that you just go, that's the situation. You've still got to do it the same way every single time, and sometimes it works and sometimes you let it go.
Yeah.
The bet he doesn't even need to tank, he just wants to know. And he's like,
Yeah, just in case, you know, someone's paying attention.
yeah.
So we are losing players left, right and centre, and I can tell you that British pro Tom Hall is exiting the arena, taking Paul Newey's shirt with him. And he's one of several players to have hit the rail in the last couple of minutes. We are now down to 159 players. Wow. 16 away from the money.
Here comes Patrick.
Yeah.
Never got asked that in my life. I mean, there, you can see them. I have him covered.
Who asked Patrick for a count of his stack?
Fuji, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, generally, it's a bit weird when the guy's got a mountain of chips and clearly has you covered by some margin to ask for a specific count.
I mean, he's got like 4x the second game.
Yeah. I mean, you could just say a billion. A billion. As far as you're concerned, mate, I might as well have a billion. Don't worry about the specifics.
I've never been asked that, did you? Patrick's like, just let me keep taking your blinds.
Maybe
Stop
the
asking
guy,
questions.
maybe the guy just wants to know, like, how much you got. How's it feel? Does it feel nice? Yeah.
That's legitimate too.
So Antonius is open to 5,500, called by Takafuji, called by Papazian. Lunda in the big blind. Folds, so we are going 3-way to the flop. By the way, we suspect that Patrick Antonius is not just chip leader at this table, but is also tournament chip leader right now, with his stack of 411,000.
Yeah. That feels about right, considering the last time we checked in with the field as a whole.
864 on the flop. A reminder that you can follow the action out in the field, follow the action from the outer tables via the PokerStarsblog.com. We'll try and bring you significant action, the exit of notable names, double ups from famous faces. But if you want an overview or specific hand reports, the blog is a great accompaniment to our coverage from the featured table here on PokerStars TV. So The last time Patrick didn't continuation bet, he check raised to put the other guy all in. Takafuji does the betting, 11,000.
I'll be scared to bet a hand like 6-7 thinking he's just gonna put me all in. Do it again.
Pays and folds.
Oh, what did he show?
Ace King.
Okay.
Yep.
As well, though.
Takafuji will not show his hand as he adds to his stack. Second in chips to the table, 53 big blinds.
I'm really worried about Benoit Lamb. He's down to 6 big blinds. I don't think we're close enough to the bubble that he's going to be able to sneak in. What have we got? 159. 143 get paid.
Yeah, the clock has been paused. You might have reached that point in the tournament where they just ask all of the dealers to be across all-in and calls and make sure that a member of the floor team are informed every time there is an all-in situation.
Oh.
Did I hear that there's going to be a break now?
I think a 15-minute break has just been announced.
Yes, the tournament staff have confirmed that they are going to take a 15-minute break from the main event here in Monte Carlo. So when we come back... Oh, hold on 1 second.
Wow, this is so live, isn't it?
Well, apparently they've just done a second announcement saying, scratch that, we're not taking a break. So stand by, because you might go on break again in a moment.
Right, okay. You let me know when you're here. Well, you let me know as soon as you're here, James.
Anyone else notice that Patrick's got a banana from now?
I mean, that's cheating. All that potassium.
So confirmation the clock is paused, confirmation that Patrick mullered that banana in about 15 seconds.
That lad knows how to eat banana.
It looks like we're ready to deal here, just waiting for confirmation from the staff that we're good to go. We are restarting, the clock is being unpaused, no break, we do play on.
Wow.
And one other piece of news from the floor is that Daniel Negreanu is up to 91k, which is the highest he has been today. He was a short stack coming into play. Still below average, the average stack right now being 137,000. Daniel hovering around 90,000.
Well, there was a break, it's just it only really lasted about 50 seconds. So everyone's still enjoying the break. Are you enjoying your break, Randy?
I'm enjoying my break.
Good, everyone just relax. Just take a breather. Okay, that's the end of the break. Everyone back to work. Nice hitting. That was curious.
Tell you what you don't want to miss. With Patrick, now he's got banana inside. And by the way, you'll notice that James Mitchell, a UK pro with a very impressive list of results, is now at our feature table, raising here to 5,100. Not to be confused, by the way, with James Mitchell Staples, a member of Team Online.
I forgot about James Mitchell Staples, yes.
That's his actual middle name.
Yeah.
So this guy's playing for him in spirit.
And when he was in Rosvedov, I got his name, and I didn't even know at that point that Jamie was there, and I just went, we got James Mitchell Staples. Another Staples, I thought that's really going to upset Staples. He's already, there's already a lot of things with his name in it. Not another one, but yeah, it turns out that our boy Jamie Staples is really James Mitchell Staples. Okay, so it was a raise to 5,100 from the aforementioned James Mitchell. Now, Davide Katai, 3 bets to 17.5.
He's not worried. Does he know it's close to the money?
I don't think he is worried about these things. I think he sees this as a burning opportunity, just to punish the new table mate.
How much are you paying behind? About 80 in total.
I'm not gonna tell you, just counter yourself.
Yeah, you can see it. Look at it. 75,500 back, we know. Gives it up. Lesson learned here, James. You just watch yourself, young man.
Just, when you get moved to a new table, just fold 100% of your hands, because you're gonna get re-raised.
Oh yeah. I mean, just, unless you get aces,
Yeah.
just chill. Just chill for 5-10 minutes. There'll probably be another break along in a minute anyway. You just, just pull back.
Now, James Mitchell has had a number of decent scores on our tour, but I think he's probably best known for winning the Irish Open in 2010, when it carried a first prize of 600,000 euros.
Didn't he used to have more kind of curly hair? No, no one. I recognise the face, but for some reason the hair doesn't match what I was expecting. I seem to think he used to have a bit more curl going on.
action was folded here, round to Salvatore Graziano. That looks like a raise from the hijack to 5,500. And it's round to Patrick Antonius in the big blind.
He does not look like a guy who's going to fold his big blind.
Well, Graziano's not really been super active, let's be honest, but...
Thinking, wait, if I was Antonius, I'd probably call wide anyways, knowing that my opponent's not going to see bet that wide, given how close we are to the money. So, like, if it goes check-check, I'm just going to bet, like, anything.
Queen, 9, deuce on the flop, 2 spades.
I'll tell you this, if Antonius has a flush draw, he's going to check raise all in.
Yes! Oh, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. Oh, I checked back, didn't walk into the potential trap. Brackets may not be true.
3 hearts on the turn. Alex Bays, we will address your tweet after the conclusion of this hand. Graziano.
Looks like he's got like an ace high or a little pair right now.
Also check back the turn, and now the board pairs on the river.
Reaching for chips. Looks like a value bet coming in. It's a small bet. To me, this looks like a value bet because I think Antonius doesn't expect his opponent to fold like 8, 7, 6, 5 for just a small bet. But you know, Antonius might be on some another level to just misread his hand every time.
Yeah.
Graziano, does he have a little pocket pair? Kinda? That's the vibe I'm getting.
Makes the call. We're going to get to see what Patrick is up to. It's 3.
It's value bet against ace high.
Wow.
I told you, any 2 cards. It's 5-3
Man
offsuit.
alive.
Value bet to pair of 3s, gets a call from worse, chips up to nearly 425,000. Hashtag beast. So Alex Bays says, have you got any competitions coming? Well, Alex, we've got a competition that's running throughout the day, and in fact, it's going to be running for the next 4 days as well. It's our Scoop Spin and Go contest. You may have missed the details earlier on. Basically, fire up one of the Scoop Spin and Goes that's running on PokerStars right now. Obviously, we're giving away Scoop tickets in those games. And all you need to do while playing that Spin and Go is win a hand with a pocket pair. You don't have to actually win the Spin and Go. Just win a hand with a pocket pair, screen grab it, boom link, hand ID, whatever you want to do to prove that it happened. Send the details in a tweet, hashtag PSCWin, and providing you do that before midnight tonight, European time, we'll put you in the draw. 3 lucky winners, drawn at random, get $109 Scoop tickets. And if you're thinking, James, what are you talking about? What's this Scoop thing?
Oh.
More details after this hand.
Yay.
Randy's thinking, how does anyone not know what Scoop is?
The scoop is great. It really is. A wide range of buy-ins, you know, like low, medium, and high.
Here comes my boy Benoit. He has been so patient, down to his last 6 big blinds, and it's going to be an ace up against.
Another ace, and
Hey!
a worse ace at that. So it is Domination Nation, and the player who is all in and at risk has the better hand. Ace-9 against Ace-8. Of course, there are some opportunities. Slim chance of a split right now, just 16%. Lamb is 61% favourite to win outright. Well, you know I was talking about those opportunities?
Yeah.
Paired flop.
Yeah, they've just increased somewhat. It's horrible, isn't it? When you've been that patient, you're getting good, and then you start worrying about the chop, and you think, oh, brilliant. Thanks ever so much.
Well,
That is not a chop flop.
indeed, Ace-9 holds, and Lamb gets the full double up. Meanwhile, we're down to 156 players, 13 off the money now, 12 away from the bubble. And Lamb might just survive and might just score a min cash of 7,580 euros. Okay, so we keep talking about Scoop. It stands for Spring Championship of Online Poker, and it is already underway on PokerStars. The 2017 edition of the Scoop runs until the 22nd of May. 57 events between now and then, with $55 million in guaranteed prize money. It is a huge online festival. It's a lot of fun, and as Randy mentioned, not only do you get a wide variety of formats, but different buy-ins. There's a low, a medium, and a high for every event. So buy-ins range from $5.50 to $25K. The main event is on Sunday the 21st of May. And qualifiers are running now, plus those all-important Scoop Spin and Goes, which offer tournament tickets as prizes. And if you're playing those Spin and Goes, double the chance, really. You could win a ticket in the Spin and Go, you could win a ticket via our competition here on PokerStars TV. And we were saying earlier on, Randy, that this is a little bit of a relentless period for poker players now. Big event here in Monte Carlo, followed by Scoop. Many people will then take in the championship in Sochi, going to Russia for the first time, straight to Vegas for the World Series, and then relax.
Pretty much, yeah. Play hard right now, and then yeah, have fun after.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Look at Lamb, he just doubled up, didn't he?
Yeah, but he did double up to be the shortest stack on the table, so at least no opportunity knocks. Davide has made it 5,700. The last 35,200 for Benoit in the middle.
But this raise is bigger. It does have fold equity now.
Yeah. Patrick's got to have something serious to be thinking about this, or is he just starting to burn time? He doesn't strike me as the sort of guy that burns
He's
time.
acting pretty fast. He's got like ace 10, ace jack, 8, something.
Looks like both the small and the big have folded.
Again.
Katai folds as well. Ace is the hand for Lamb.
But Lamb,
And 155 players remaining now from the 727 who started. We will go hand for hand when we are down to 144 players. The bubble bursts when we get to 143, and everyone is guaranteed at least 7.5 grand.
Is that me as well? Yeah, everyone's guaranteed.
No, everyone is actually in
Nothing changed to this match.
the Monte Carlo main event.
Well, I'm here.
Everyone who played it?
No, everyone who still has chips.
Very
in the Monte
misleading,
Carlo
very
main event.
misleading this information from my colleague. I do apologise, Randy.
That's
Just to
very
clarify,
upsetting.
you
Very
don't win
upsetting.
anything.
Okay, I felt that a certain amount of information, a certain amount of stuff was implicit. Clearly, I need to be explicit. If you paid the €5,000 buy-in,
Okay, that's Randy.
or qualified online
Not
for
me.
this tournament,
Right, keep going.
and survived to the point where there were 143 players remaining,
Oh.
then you would be guaranteed at least €7,500.
Right, so just
See, I
confirm.
thought everyone knew that, but clearly I was wrong.
Now, are you still in the tournament, Randy, just for clarity?
No, I busted around 200 and something remaining, so that doesn't qualify.
That
I'm
doesn't-
afraid not.
Right, okay. Well, it's good to know. It's good to have that cleared up. So if anyone at home was wondering, you don't get that money either. Sorry about that. It was slightly misleading.
And just to follow up on Alex's question about competitions, obviously we've got that Scoop Spin and Go contest running throughout the day, and obviously we'll run a different one every day of this week. But no other competitions right now, because we are getting to a very serious point in the competition. We are getting to the bubble where the money happens, and obviously we want to focus on that right now, hoping we can draft in Neil Johnson as we get close to bursting that bubble here at the first European stop of the PokerStars Championship. Now remember, because we're making TV shows from this event, we have got our secondary feature table in action. Daniel Negreanu is at that table, and he has just raised. The other player in this hand is Marius Catalan-Patea, who originally bet the turn. Now facing this raise from Daniel, Marius calls, and that's going to take us to the river. Just check out the board there. Queen 8-7-5 deuce.
And Daniel's got position, of course. He's got position.
Position's a good
He's
thing.
not a fool, is it? He knows.
So Daniel took the betting lead on the turn. Marius leads river for 35,000.
It's a lot of Daniel's stack here. I believe the flush got down the river.
No, it missed. There's 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, and a club on the board.
Can't read boards, that's bad.
It's a really long way away, and we didn't see it for very long. Oh, he's going through it.
Daniel calls. Let's see it. Marius,
Oh, it's pretty slow, so I think that's a losing hand.
that is 4 deuce of diamonds, sorry. So that is a pair of deuces and a missed flush draw. Set of 8s for Daniel Negreanu, and that is good. So a cheeky little bluff from Marius on the river. Bluffing Daniel Negreanu, not an advisable strategy.
No. Also interesting to Daniel's right there is, of course, one of our qualifiers, Valerie Lubinets, who's still in, but looked pretty short-stacked to me. Is our farmer.
Yes, indeed. A farmer from Ukraine.
But close to the bubble, close to the money. Didn't look super stacked, but still with us, considering a pretty tricky table draw for the man. But apparently this is his 4th live PokerStars event, so he has some experience here.
He's got 40 years experience in agriculture, Matt.
Well, I mean, that's always going to help you, isn't it, in this sort of situation?
I'll tell you what, when it gets to this point in the tournament, people do bang on about foxes and farmers.
True enough. I don't know why. But
I gotta admit, I have not heard any talk about farmers in my career poker career.
oh, you're young. You're young. You're new here, Andy. Honestly, give it long enough, you'll have heard all the sorts of rubbish.
It's an analogy that a certain Mr. Lee H. Jones is very fond of utilising. So next time you see Big Horse on the circuit, tap up Lee for that story.
Get ready for a good 6-hour reply, though, if you do so. Put some time aside for the anecdote.
Easy now. Not 100% sure of the action in this hand. Apologies for the lack of graphics.
So let's just watch this stare down. We don't know who he's staring at. Oh, there we go.
He might not be in the hand, we might just be enjoying him. Just the cameraman just enjoying Patrick.
By the looks of things, we are on the turn here. The board is ace 7 6 5 with 3 spades, so it's straighty and it's flushy. And I think that Patrick has bet here. And you'll notice that the magic numbers just appeared on the screen. 144, that is the bubble. And when we get to 143, that bubble will literally pop.
Really?
We will start paying players.
It's like a video game. It's like the future. It pops and it animates and a noise is issued forth.
I
It's
haven't
the
seen it
future.
yet.
Oh, well.
Okay, I'm excited.
Technology has just got to such a ridiculous level that we're able to do that kind of thing on the budget.
No. He looks very pained here.
Yeah, it's a bet of 10,000 from Patrick, and obviously that is for a third of Graziano's stack. He folds, and Patrick adds to that massive stack. As we say, not just table boss, tournament boss, close to 450,000 now, with 153 players remaining, and the money bubble looming.
Kachingo.
4-4-4.
Well, let's have a look at a lineup at one of the outer tables. And we've had some interesting matches today. Here we have Bruno Coolchen Lopez, the French rapper, sharing a table with the always aggressive Faraz Jaka, the equally aggressive and somewhat insane Bertrand Elki Gropellier, with his brand new nose for 2017. And as previously mentioned, also at that table, Victoria Corin Mitchell.
That's fab.
So we'll keep an eye on things in the field as we focus on the feature table. World famous bubble coverage is imminent. It was a long weekend, people. Randy will testify.
Excuse accepted.
So we're going to see James Mitchell in action, raising from the cutoff. James slightly below the tournament average. He's got 130k at the start of this hand. Average stack right now 142,000. Patrick's still eating. What's he moved on to now?
How fast did he eat is the real question.
Yeah, that banana just disappeared, didn't it, previously?
Is Davide gonna mess with Mitchell again?
Yeah, James, apart from that very first hand when James came to the table, it's like, right, I'll leave it. I'm just going to take 40 minutes off. He must have heard you.
I mean, Mitchell has the pre-flop aggression, but he looks nervous.
So Katai defends his big blind. It's a queen 6-5 flop with 2 clubs.
Here's the continuation bet. It's kind of a board that kind of hits both players. It's really hard to predict who generally is going to be stronger here. You know, they're both equally likely to have a 7-8 type hand, 6-5, Queen King, Queen Jack, so... You know, just maybe it's the one with the pre-flop aggression is going to win the pot a little bit more here, I think.
Well, the only problem with that is that doesn't take into account that the other player is Davide Katai.
Yes.
Because as you say, ordinarily the guy that was aggressive you favour, but then you stare down the barrel of Katai and go,
Yeah. That's a fun card there.
Absolutely, the board gets straightier and flushier as the 7 of clubs appears on the turn.
But like I said, it's very hard to know who's improved in the hand, if at all anyone. I think they're both very likely to have a flush or 6-7. Is Katai going to take the betting lead? Or is he going to check again? I'm convinced that Katai just wants to win the pot against Mitchell no matter what. I don't know. That's just the read I have. Whether he's got a hand or not, he just wants to win the pot.
Well, look at this. He check called flop for 7,000 and now leads turn for 18,500.
I mean, it's a scary spot for Mitchell here. I mean, nope, never mind.
What was that saying, Randy?
It was oh!
Oh, it's just one of those clashes.
It could just be a cooler.
Wow.
Two pair the hand for Mitchell, but it was snap called by Katai, who has got it. He's got the king high flush.
What a filthy turn.
So Mitchell drawing to 4 outs, a 6 or a 5 needed on the river for him to make a full house. If Mitchell doesn't hit, we lose another player. Oh no, hang on, it's Katai who's at risk here, my bad.
He survived.
So Mitchell is still in with roughly starting stack 30,000. Katai has chipped up to nearly 200k, and talking of players with 200,000 in chips, after we saw him win that hand against Marius at the secondary feature table, Daniel has just won another decent pot and is now playing 200,000. Daniel's above average for the first time today.
I got a really nice question here from Andrew Long I want to throw your way, Randy. I'm going to ask it round backwards because I'm more interested in the second part. Oh, hold tight. Oh, sorry, I thought they might be heading off. We're just going to take a look at how things stand on your screen. So Andrew asks, when pros say that they work on their game, what do they actually do?
Well, for me, actually, it's just thinking about the game, not at the table. So, like, I'll discuss hands. You know, I might take a hand that was tough, right? And I'll break it down. You know, I might be like, okay, what if I bet smaller instead of the size I chose this time? Does that change the way my opponent plays? And then when you start thinking about one hand much more complex, you'll find that you'll learn a lot about your strategy in general and how to play poker better. That's what I think people do when they work on their game.
Right.
Of course, sometimes like okay, I want to work. They realize they feel very uncomfortable in the big blind. You know, when they call and they always like have like second pair, third pair. And then, you know, when you realize the situation happens a lot, you might be like, well, how can I make it more a better situation for in big blind?
Yeah.
Maybe am I playing the big blind too weak? Maybe I should just fold it. You know. So these are the type of things I would try to think about.
And are you kind of pretty self-sufficient in your working on it, or are you reliant on other people's input to sort of twist your thinking around, or do you just need to kind of meditate somewhere for a while?
I personally can just do it on my own because I think through hands very thoroughly. I can break it down really well. But it's always good to get a second opinion. You know, you don't have to agree with that second opinion, but you need to be aware that there's another option. Because I think the good thing about poker is there's no one absolute way to play a hand. There's many different ways and many different strategies, and they all can be equally good, actually.
Yeah. The other part of Andrew's question, again, thank you, Andrew, was just saying, what do you think makes a top live tournament pro successful?
Yeah. Well, they need to be able to handle the variance. That's one thing. Most people, when they go live tournaments, they understand they're not playing as many tournaments as, say, an online on Stars, right? So you're going to bust a tournament like 5 times in a row, and that could be very annoying. But you can't let it get to you and just start like, oh, I'm going to splash around because someone made a bad play against me and got there against me. You need to have your mind in the game perfectly. And then, you know, when the money's on, because when you play live tournaments, the prize is really, really big, right? Especially at the final table, it's like 500,000 euros for first. You can't be, oh, I'm just going to try and squeeze my way up to get a little bit more, because then you're not playing your best poker.
Yeah.
You're kind of just playing a little bit scared. And, you know, that's what's going to separate good players from, like, the very best.
I always find there's like a middle ground. I find is sometimes I'm playing tournaments online, because I'm aware of how easy it is to jump into another one. If I have a couple of things go bad for me, I've almost written that game off, so I'm like, do you know what? I gotta play another one. Whereas meanwhile, if I play live, because it happens so infrequently, I'm like, I'm overly precious. Like, how do you find that middle ground where you're just playing the game you should be playing without either going, meh, I'll do another one, or going, oh my god, this means so much to me.
It's really just a lot of mental poker there, right? I mean, a lot of times, I think people, they travel very far to play a tournament, they're like, I don't want to bust the first hand tournament.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you got aces, sometimes you're going to bust the first hand tournament, and you just got to accept the fact that sometimes you're going to be the bubble boy. But you just need to play your best poker.
Yeah.
That hand saw Martin Lunder win a pot off Patrick Antonius, something not many people at this table have been able to do. Patrick's still big chip leader at the moment with around 433,000. Sadly, no chips left for this guy. Walid Bou Habib is out in 153rd place.
Ugh. So close.
So we are now at 152, getting ever closer to the bubble. Still 60 minutes to play on this level, 1 level to follow before the conclusion of day 2. Blinds will go up in 60 minutes time to 1,500, 3,000 with a 500 ante.
The new guy at the table. No more chips. Now he's all in. Don't get him, Katai.
Man, that would be pretty...
Leave him alone.
James Mitchell open shoving for his last 32,000. was that hand against Kitai that did most of the damage. Kitai's on the button here, folds. Lundy gives up the small. Benoit Lamb in the big. He's got 46k.
Man.
And I think he folds as well.
Yeah.
So James Mitchell survives for now. Talking about live tournaments, by the way, and obviously we talk a lot about the championships, they're the events we cover here on PokerStars TV. We talk a lot about the festivals, which are kind of what the local tours used to be. And of course, we had that great advert for the festival in Marbella this summer, which looks like it's going to be an absolutely awesome event. Don't forget, there's also the new PokerStars Mega Stacks. Now, this started in London at the Hippodrome Casino in the West End, a £170 deep stack tournament played over the course of a weekend. I'm pleased to say that the Mega Stacks are going to be rolled out across the UK and Ireland, but also in other countries as well. Mega Stacks have already been announced for Belgium and France. Hopefully they'll be coming to other countries soon. And this is exactly the kind of tournament that I would want to play. It's exactly the kind of tournament which I imagine you might just see me, Joe and Matt at from time to time, because that is exactly the kind of amount I'm willing to pay to play a tournament, especially one which I know is going to be well structured and well run.
Well run, and in, you know, 3 dead money.
that is also true. I would have a problem with that if it wasn't entirely true.
So if you head to PokerStarsLive.com, you'll see there is a new section on there. Not only do we have the championships, not only do we have the festivals, we now have the Mega Stacks as well. And looking forward to playing a few of those in the UK. And yes, Matt, that will probably be one of like 2 live tournaments I play in a 12-month period, and I will be clinging on desperately to my tournament live.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Is you think, finally, I'm playing some live poker, and then you raise with the ace king, the guy moves, and you're like, oh, fold. It's not a good way to play.
Now, talking of people who have busted poker tournaments, that is Evgeny Sabov already tweeting about the bad news or texting his backers. Out in 152nd place, 151 on the board.
Gulp.
Andrew Long really appreciated your answers to his questions, Randy. He says, always love the coverage, guys. Usually watching afterwards. This is the first time hearing you live. Keep it up. I mean, I have to appreciate there'll be a lot of people watching from the United Kingdom today who have a day off work. It's a bank holiday. It's May Day. So that means people don't have to use the replay. They can just sit at home with their feet up. Maybe have us on the big screen, courtesy of YouTube, or by airplaying us from the PokerStars TV app. Check 3 flop here. Papazian the pre-flop aggressor. Antonius called out of the... Sorry, Takafuji called out of the big blinds.
I kind of don't really remember how Takafuji got to be so well chipped up. It feels like he's hardly really played a lot of hands. That one weird one against Patrick where he asked for the count even though he had 4 times his stack.
Just curious. Takafuji's been chilling because I think he started the day with that stack.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I know nothing about him, but he's hardly played a hand. I got a funny feeling when he does play a hand, he's going to get a huge amount of respect.
I mean,
but maybe
he had kings against me.
Well, there you are. That story checks out.
Story checks out.
But I mean, this is the 4th level in a row, and I'm just feeling like I don't think I've seen him really open up. I don't think I've seen him start any pots off.
Well, no reason to start getting crazy. It's like, oh, let me just snug up and then go crazy and bust right before the money.
I mean, it must be really hard to be that different. I would find it boring. I would almost rather not bother turning up. If I started the day with a big enough stack that I worked out I could get through it.
It's boring to win mini cash for 7,500 euros.
Yeah, no.
Boring, huh?
The answer to your question is no. But I guess the other question to be asked is, why are you playing poker? So for me, I would be playing poker because I like playing poker. And so even if someone had a really good financial argument for it, I would do it, but I would find it really hard because I would be in the big blind and someone's raised and I got 5, 6 diamonds and I want to defend it, but I shouldn't. I'll let that go and I just let it go and I'll wait for the game. But
to be fair, we don't really know his cold cards. He could be getting 2, 3 offsuit and 5, 2 offsuit.
I'm not suggesting from it that's definitely what he's doing. It just seems really weird that someone could be on our feature table for so long with a decent stack, and yet I don't really remember him.
Patrick's been getting a good hand every time. Look, he's re-raising again.
Well, exactly. That must be happening.
I mean, we saw the 6-2 suited. That's pretty good.
I mean, well, he knew it was good. The thing is, in the hands of Patrick
you bet the
Antonius,
pocket 2s. 6 kicker.
That's probably 8s. That's probably the equivalent to you or I playing pocket 8s. So it's different. It's a different world for Patrick.
Well, he's putting pressure on Papa Zian.
3 betting and eating bananas is what he does.
Snakes alive and stacking chips.
When I got to the table, they were all trying to attack Antonius, but now they're just giving up to him.
I think they've learned from their mistakes, Randy. Pete Blow has tweeted at me, James, you didn't mention that the next Mega Stack is in London this weekend. You are correct, Pete, I didn't, and I did it deliberately because I'm bitter. and I'm annoyed because I missed the first one because I was on holiday, and I'm going to miss the second one because I'm working here in Monte Carlo.
Yeah, I'm going to have to cross-reference these with... I mean, is it rude to cancel a woman's wedding when you've already promised to do it?
In all seriousness, I've looked at exactly the same schedule that you're looking at right now, and I've realised that because of holidays and live events, the first one that I can actually play is in October.
Do you know, I think it's the same for me. Maybe that's it.
Meanwhile, Stuart Dawson has provided visual evidence that, yes, he is lying on his sofa, watching us on the big TV, courtesy of YouTube, and there's the picture to prove it.
No, I was wrong. I'm working every single day of the October one as well. That's so frustrating.
Do you think they had access to our calendars when they actually put these events in the diary?
I am starting to wonder. Yeah, July's did. Unbelievable. So rude.
So Qatar is open to 5,700. Action on Pazian in the big blinds.
Pazian's going to defend.
Meanwhile, news from our spies on the floor. Simon Tabram out in 151st place. We're down to 150. Did you see the little bubble effect there?
Oh, I missed it.
What did he do?
God. Oh, man.
What is it? Does it do something with every departure?
Now that we're close to the money, now that we're 10 away from actually making the money, every elimination, you get a little bubble ripple over the number 144. Look out for it. Costs a lot of money.
Can one of these guys bust right now? Because I would like to see it.
Can we get a warning before?
Maybe a settle reset right now would be really nice.
Hey, Davide, Randy wants you to get coolered just so that he can see our special
he needs
effect.
to cooler Papazian.
Oh,
to
don't worry,
the effect.
Davide. We don't worry about coolering you. We'll cooler the other guy.
Priorities, that's the problem.
Well, continuation bet 7,500 over to Papazian. Generally speaking, this could hit the big line a little bit more, but not strongly. You know, hands like 7-6, 6-5, they're okay hands. Not great, but they're reasonable to call.
I mean, you can guarantee you're going to hate the turn and hate the river, but other than that, right now, you've got to feel good about life.
But the turn can be good. Let's see.
Oh, you're always right. I hate you, Randy.
Well, Papazian's way more likely to have a deuce in his hand. He doesn't have many deuces, but he does have, like, you know, ace deuce. Oh, like a lot of combos of that. But, you know, Katai, he's probably not raising, like, king deuce in early position, so, you know, if Katai bets here again, I guess he's got to have a flush draw or an overpair? He checks it back. That looks kind of weak.
Unless he's got the boat and he's just hoping for another
That is
stay.
true. But it's an unlikely situation.
I agree. I think it's unlikely, but it's the only way I can see a check there being an aggressive move, as it were.
While the flop flush draw gets there on the river, it's also a paired board. Action on Katai.
Well, Papazian?
Sorry, it is, indeed. Papazian has not yet checked.
If Papazian is bluffing, it's going to be almost always a straight draw type hand. If he's not bluffing, it's going to be the deuce or most likely the flush.
So Katai continued the flop. It went check on the turn.
And here he's reaching for chips.
Keeping it simple, 30,800 in the middle, and the bet from the Romanian.
15,000 looks
Yeah.
like.
I believe it was. Half pot, 3 blues,
7.
gets the call, and the 7 announced from Davide Katai.
Nice play.
I think it's Papazian with the
Oh,
7.
sorry, do you know what? I thought that came out of Davide's mouth there.
Papazian value bet to 7 and gets
Very well
called by
played.
worse. Wow.
What does Davide call there?
I guess he called of ace high or sixes. I mean, it's the same hand practically.
Yeah.
But we know Davide likes to look up people. That was very good value bet. Very good.
So Papazian now playing 140k, 58 big blinds. Katai still second in chips at this table with a 70 big blind stack. Patrick Antonius leads the table and the tournament, 185 bigs with 4 minutes left on this level.
I mean, who'd be Patrick Antonius? Oh, and did I mention he lives over the road? I mean, you know, life is good for Team Antonius right now.
Just come downstairs.
Exactly. I'm surprised he isn't like in his slippers and a robe. Just sauntered in with his own bananas that he grew
He grew his banana.
in his banana orchard out in the back garden.
Antonius in action again. Patrick raising here from the hijack, makes it 5,500. Round to the blinds.
Has he got an earphone in? That man got an earphone in. Get James, call the earphone police.
Remove your headphones, sir.
If you're listening to me, don't pay any attention. Oh man, like, I totally schooled him. That's what I've done.
We got him. Good work, team.
Got to be fair. It's got to be fair. Either everyone or no one.
Meanwhile, we haven't mentioned the bounty bonus for a while because obviously registration's been closed for some time. You can't play it. Matt and I are both busted. But the third commentator, Joe Stapleton, still in the tournament. Not just still in, but also chip leader with 36 players remaining. So 7,016 entrants, and Joe is one of 36.
Joe is either becoming very good at poker or is really good with Photoshop, because that is such a convincing screenshot.
It's a really nice
It's
Photoshop.
really nicely done. The font is absolutely spot on. Very good.
Was the starting stack 810,000? I mean, that's the only way I can
So he's added 515 to his stack since the beginning of the game. That's a tremendous... Oh, good lord. Yeah, that's a great return.
So with 2 minutes on the clock, that means we've got 2 more minutes with Randy Lou. Hopefully we'll catch up with Nanonoko later in the week as he drops some knowledge bombs in the booth here on PokerStars TV. But as we prepare to go, full bubble, we've drafted in Neil Johnson to guide us through hand-for-hand play here in Monte Carlo. He'll be with us soon.
You're going to have to hover in the background, otherwise you're going to miss the bubble bursting.
No, I want
And I promise you that when it happens, you'll blink or you'll sneeze. No, that's it. It's not like a 3-minute ceremony. It just goes, bloop, and that's it. So you need to make sure you're paying attention.
So just to pick up on the action here, after Patrick's pre-flop raise, it went check on the flop, check on the turn. Patrick makes a delayed c-bet on the river for pretty much full pot, 15k into 16k.
Page is not liking it.
Yeah, he's had enough of this, hasn't he?
What does he have, like a queen?
Did he not a better queen earlier?
You would think so, but why does he look so pained then? A 3? 9? 8?
That's the worst thing, is you're going to lose a lot of hands to Patrick because he's got better cast you, and then you got to add all the other ones where he's just going to beat you because he's going to beat you. And you're like, do you know what? It seems unfair.
Out of position too, I mean.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
So I think we'll squeeze in one more hand at this blind level.
Please bust someone, Patrick.
Well, we've got Salvatore Graziano's on 8 bigs, James Mitchell's on 10. There's a couple of potentials here. Benoit's been quiet for a while. Who's going to open this one up? This is going to be Martin, so maybe if he folds, Benoit gets it all in.
Don't forget, this isn't the only table in the tournament. There could be an elimination from the outer tables as well. That'll have the same effect.
Yeah, but we might miss it because it happens very quickly, doesn't it? At least he will get the cue to stare at it.
Exactly.
I'm not going to get very much commentary done just staring at the number of players in the field.
Yeah, so we have got some short stacks, you're right. Benoit on 16 bigs, James on 13, Salvatore on 8. And those stacks are going to get shorter when we play the next hand because the blinds are going up.
There's Antonius.
He is relentless. Love the way he's wielding that big stack right now. Close to the bubble in this main event here in Monte Carlo.
He's playing great.
I mean, it is perfect. I mean, I know since we've been talking about the way he's been playing, we've got closer to the bubble, but spotted a while back, as soon as he gets a big stack, now is the time to just absolutely punish anyone at the table that's even vaguely, slightly passive.
He looks like he's playing great, and whenever we see a showdown, it's been great too. So, you know, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He wants his bubble to last as long as he can, actually, for sure.
So we have reached the end of the level. Blinds are going up to 1,500, 3,000 with a 500 ante. This will be the last level of the day, and this is the point where sadly we bid adieu to Randy Lou. Thank you so much for coming in, Randy. Always appreciate your guest spots on PokerStars TV. Some great analysis over the course of the last hour.
Thank you guys. I'll be just hovering right behind you, waiting for that.
Waiting for the animation to burst. We'll film it for you, all right? We'll
Okay,
film it.
film it. Thank you guys.
Cheers, thanks, man.
And if he's not too busy crushing souls and owning people, we'll have to draft back Mr. Stapleton to commentate on the action.
Gonna ruin his afternoon for sure.
As I mentioned, our head of live poker operations, Neil Johnson, will be joining us very shortly as we kick off our world-famous bubble coverage here in Monte Carlo, covering all important money bubble in this Monte Carlo main